Alright, how's it going, lads? So Fulham nil, Chelsea 1. This game made me sweat a lot more than it ever should have, considering where we are in the table versus where they are in the table, what our hopes for the season are versus what theirs are, and considering the fact that they played the entire second half with 10 men. Yeah, 1 nil probably doesn't do our performance justice because there was a good performance there, just let down by some bad finishing. But fair play to Fulham, they were very spirited in their fight to get a point out of this game. Didn't quite work out for them in the end, but that is good news for us. So let's get into the player ratings. Edouard Mendy, 5 out of 10, and yes, 5 out of 10, very mediocre rating, but not because his performance was bad, just because he had very little to do. Fulham's best chance fell to Ivan Cavallero, he blazed it over the bar. Apart from that, I can't think of anything too testing for Mendy that he had to make save-wise. He did have that moment with Azpilicueta where he got his feet in the muddle, should have just left Dave to deal with the ball. He came out, it almost led to a chance, but thankfully Thiago Silva was aware to the danger. So yeah, not a whole lot to judge here for Mendy. Azpilicueta, 6 out of 10. Especially in the second half, we weren't tested a whole lot defensively, so we really need to look at Azpilicueta's performance going forward here. And he doesn't have the same quality as Reece James when attacking, we know that. But there was a lot of instances in this game where the ball was put out wide to Dave, people in the centre waiting for a cross in that just didn't come or wasn't quite to the standard you'd expect. He was the one that got fouled for the red card, and in the studio at half time they were all talking about how they think it was a yellow. Back in their day it was a yellow. Yes, back in their day it was a yellow, but that doesn't mean that it isn't now, because the rules were changed to protect players, because it was a very overzealous challenge on Azpilicueta, and I'd say it was a deserved red card. Thiago Silva, 8 out of 10. Yes, we were playing against Fulham, and for most of the game they were with 10 men, but that still doesn't change the fact that when you have to defend, you have to defend. And there were a few instances where Fulham tried to make things uncomfortable for us, and for the most part, it was always Thiago Silva that was there to mop up. I did say that Mendy had very little to do, and a lot of that is due to the fact that Thiago Silva was protecting him. He did pick up a yellow card for a cynical foul late on in the game, which just kind of shows that we were panicking a little bit defending that 1-0 lead, but that was just a small blemish on a fairly solid performance. Antonio Rudiger, 7 out of 10. It's no secret that I prefer Zuma to Rudiger. I think that while Rudiger is better on the ball, Zuma is the better centre-back when it comes to defending. But in fairness to him, on every occasion this season that he stepped in, Rudiger has looked solid. He's kept a clean sheet in most, if not all, of his games that he's played in, so I mean, that's fairly impressive. And he looked assured in this game. In previous matches, he seems a little bit short in confidence, especially when passing, just because it's clear that his spot in the team isn't exactly safe. But in this one, I don't know if Lamps has maybe instilled a bit more faith in him, but he definitely looked like he had a bit more sureness about him. And Chilwell, 7 out of 10. Look, I've already said that on the opposite side, Azpilicueta's crossing and attacking play is not quite up to snuff, but the Chelsea lads know that, so they seem to make sure that most of that attacking threat came down Chilwell's side, and it was a mixed enough bag from him. A lot of his crosses seemed to hit the first man, but we won corners from him, so not the end of the world. He had a few shots in this game that were just absolutely diabolical. The less said about them, the better. But at the end of the day, it was his cross that was put into the box that caused problems for Areola, led to the goal. So I'm going to give him a 7. And I think that I'm going to update his player picture. I think he's finally earned that one, so congratulations to Ben. Jorginho, 6 out of 10. Jorginho was pretty much in because Kante was suspended for this one. I don't think he's in the team for any reason other than that. I don't think he's up there in the pecking order for Frank, but in this game his performance was okay. He didn't do a whole lot wrong. There were a few occasions where he tried to play the difficult pass, and I loved that from him. Didn't quite work out from him in this one. Maybe it is because of his lack of playing time recently. Didn't pick himself up any yellow cards though, which is always nice to see from Jorginho because it's a rarity. But yeah, for the most part, he controlled the midfield. I do just wish that he was a little bit faster going forward, especially in the second half when we were playing against 10 men. Mateo Kovacic, 5 out of 10. I honestly am not sure if Kovacic has hit the heights of his last season's performances in any game this season. He's just looked short on everything. His pace, his dribbling, all off the mark. In this game, there were a few instances, particularly when we were really going for the goal, where he tried to make something happen, tried to have a run at Fulham, tried to make life awkward for them, but in the end he just ended up making life awkward for us because he kept giving the ball away, putting pressure on the defence when losing the ball in the midfield or even closer to our goal positions. So yeah, not the best from Matteo in this one. Mason Mount, 9 out of 10. I don't think I can say enough good stuff about Mason in this game. In the first half, I think he was our best player. He had that great chance that he crashed off the crossbar. It was a little bit of an awkward angle. He had to go with power if he wanted any chance of beating the goalkeeper, and he very nearly did. Then going into the second half, he was, for at least the first 20 minutes, he was the only one that was really pushing, the one that was really looking to put pressure on that Fulham backline. And then as the game progressed and we did get a bit more advanced, did push onto them a bit more, it was pretty much just from him leading by example, and he gets his just rewards by getting the winning goal. It was a lovely finish on the volley. As it came to him, we'd had so many chances in that game that it just hit the defender or gone wide. I could see it happening again, but no, not with Mason. He gets it on target. He knew that if he just kept it on target, kept it low, there was a chance, because the Fulham defence / goalkeeper were at 6s and 7s at the time. Did exactly that. It was very Frank Lampard-esque. Hopefully Mason Mount can keep up this goal scoring form, because I think he's easily a player that can go on to get double digits in every season he plays in. Christian Pulisic, 5 out of 10. Since coming back from injury, this is probably the least impact I've seen Pulisic have in a game. There were a few bits of nice interplay that he was involved in, but for the most part he was quiet. It's pretty much seemed to be that we'd get the ball out to the left, he'd just hold it up, wait for the Chilwell overlap and pass it out to him. And there really wasn't much to his game apart from that. He did have a half chance in the second half. Ziyech whipped in a lovely ball and he was about an inch away from getting something on it, which definitely would have resulted in a goal. But maybe that just shows that he's not quite up to the pace fully just yet. He's only back a few games from injury. So yeah, 5 out of 10 in this one, but in the next one I'd be surprised if he does the same. Hakim Ziyech, 7 out of 10. Ziyech does still look a bit shy of match fitness. In the second half he was taken off when I think Pulisic maybe should have been the one taken off, but I'd say Lamps just wanted to rest him a little bit before going into the Leicester game. I imagine he'll start there, and there was a lot of good stuff from Ziyech in this game. He beat his man on several occasions. There was a few really dangerous crosses that he whipped into the box, and either some last ditch defending or just bad finishing on our part messed them up. But yeah, very positive performance from Ziyech, and hopefully he keeps it up. Olivier Giroud, 3 out of 10. It does pain me to give Giroud this low rating because I love him. He did make a nuisance of himself at times in this game, but for the most part his hold-up play wasn't what it usually is. His finishing was way off the mark. There were so many crosses into the box, not all of them of perfect quality, but of the quality enough that you'd expect Giroud to be making something of them, and he just wasn't able to all game long. Really wasn't his match, but we know what he's capable of. I don't think this will affect him too much if Lamps decides to start him in the next one. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets on the score sheet in that, because it's just what Giroud does. But yeah, just not the one for him today. Anyway lads, that's it for this one. Yes, it was a little bit too close for comfort, but at the end of the day we get our 3 points. We can go into the next match against Leicester with maybe a little bit more confidence than we've been going into recent matches. But comment below if you agree, disagree with my ratings. Like if you did enjoy, subscribe for more footy chats, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video.